Alright guys, I'm calling this episode 2.5. You might be wondering why. It's just because it's really just an evolution of last time's rig. I wasn't 100% happy with the fuzz pedal I used in that. I got some decent tones out of it, I think, and it's a great pedal for what it does. It just isn't the sound I really wanted. So, but if you haven't seen that one, you could watch it over here. Or you could go back to the first video in this series if you don't know what I'm talking about, and that's here. So basically the idea is I'm setting up or thinking about sort of, these are like thought experiments, right? So I'm imagining small gigs, small to medium gigs that I might do in future, and then showing you a rig with an amp, a guitar or two, and 3 to 5 pedals. And in the last one I used the Topanga Shanks ODS1, which has become just really probably my favorite overdrive pedal. I just really enjoy playing with it. I'm going to do a standalone video about it, and then I use the Catalan-bred Topanga, which is a great spring reverb with really good clean level boost. You don't even really have to have much reverb coming out of it. It just does a really good job of boosting whatever other pedal you put before it. So I was using it for that purpose. And then I had this germanium mini fuzz from Tone, which I think the germanium fuzzes are very specific sounding, right? They have quite a lot of warm low end, and you know, if you're going for certain things, it would be fantastic. So I've decided I want to do this video with the Shanks and the Topanga again, different guitar and a different third pedal. So I'm going to show you what the Shanks and the Topanga sound like through or with this guitar, which is going to be my Fender Broadcaster. You know, probably my go-to guitar at the moment for just wanting to, you know, be me, play as me. And I explained in an earlier video, I don't think I'd be comfortable taking out my semi-hollow guitars at the beginning of my live playing career down at the pub. I don't know, I'd be too worried about it. So this Broadcaster looks like it could take, you know, a little bit of punishment if it were to happen. So let me show you what the Shanks and the Topanga sound like through it, and then we'll get onto this third pedal. Okay, so the amp's actually sounding pretty lively with this guitar. This guitar is so much hotter than I had expected it to be when I bought it. Absolutely love it. Now I'm going to kick in the Topanga, and it will just increase the level slightly and fill everything in a little bit. It's got a really sweet tone. Okay, now the Shanks will come in, and I've got it set so the volume is higher than the gain. I'm not really using it for a lot of gain today, but you'll still hear the character of it. It's got this sort of creamy drive to it, but it's not very compressed. I mean, it has some compression, but it's not like really compressed, you know. It's still going to allow the guitar to sort of express itself. I mean, really, those two pedals alone, if I was doing a two-pedal board, could really do so much for me. I mean, the gain is not really up on the Shanks pedal, and you know, there's a lot more reverb and level that I could get out of the Topanga. So they have a really massive dynamic range between them. But we'll get on to the third pedal now, and I think it'll be a pedal that a lot of people are familiar with from a certain player. We'll talk about it in a second. So if you've heard of Josh Smith, you've definitely heard of this pedal, and I'm pretty sure most of you know who Josh Smith is. And I've hesitated to use this pedal much in videos for two reasons. Firstly, I made a video about this pedal very early in my YouTube guitar career, and it was a terrible video. I explained everything wrongly, I played terribly, and eventually I deleted it. The other reason not to use it is because when something is so linked, you know, to someone so brilliant, you know, a wizard like Josh Smith, you know, you sort of feel like, okay, he's got that thing, I'm going to leave it well alone. But now that I'm becoming more and more of a Tele player, now that the Tele and the semi-hollow Gibsons are like my, you know, that's where I feel the most at home, I had to try the Tchula again because it's the most like playing a big old amp that I've ever got out of any pedal. That's what it feels like. There isn't a sort of forced compression that you get from a gain knob on a pedal. It's open, but with beautiful, tubey warmth, lovely playing dynamics, everything. So the Tchula has two sides. The left-hand side is, so based on the original Church of Tone pedal, which obviously Josh Smith loved, and that had a knob on it. But the knob is not really a gain knob. It affects the clipping. Basically, I'm not very technical, so we'll leave it at that. But basically, the left-hand side of this pedal is where Josh Smith used to love putting the knob, which was just before 12 o'clock. Then the right-hand side, when you hit that, it's not the both together. When you hit the right-hand side, it's just the right-hand side. And if you turn that knob all the way down, that would be the same as the left-hand side. So you're going up from there. So you basically give yourself a big boost. The Tchula works really well with guitar volume, so a lot of people will keep that right-hand knob almost full on, and then they can control a lot of what happens with the guitar volume. Now, I have to say, every time I have tried this with a Tele, I've thought, this is the be-all and end-all pedal for Teles. 100%. So I'm going to do a video soon about whether the Tchula is only for teles, because I've seen a lot of people use it with other guitars, but never quite heard the tone that a Tele gets with it from other guitars. You know, I feel like it's based around the Tele, much like King Tone pedals are based around Strats, if we're being honest. So yeah, I really love this. Okay, so let's hear the right hand side. I've got the volume on my guitar dialed back a bit. Just at the end of this clip, I'll start to sort of wind it up a bit, and you can hear I don't have it set massively gained on. This is the setting I would use, and you'll hear why later when I put it with other pedals. Alright, let's get to the good combinations here at the end. I'm going to hit the Tchula with the Topanga to begin with. As we've seen in the last video and this one, the Topanga will just make everything sound a bit bigger, you know, great clean boost. Adding a little reverb, but I haven't got the dwell and the mix up very high, so you don't really hear it that much. But in the playing, you feel there's a very uncompressed feeling about the Topanga as well. So with the Tchula, it just works really well. Okay, now let's hit the Tchula with the Shanks, two of my favourite pedals of all time, and hear what this sounds like. I was curious myself, really, because the Tchula is really uncompressed, and that's a real Josh Smith thing. He doesn't want compression in the slightest, right? But then the Shanks has this lovely creamy compression in its drive sound. Although I haven't got the drive sound up very high, you will hear that compression come in, and it's a really nice way to soften the Tchula, I think, in you know, in various parts of songs or whatever you need it for. It could be really useful. Okay, now I'm going to hit it with the Topanga, or the Tchula, the Shanks and the Topanga. This is still the left-hand side of the Tchula, by the way, unless it says right-hand side on the screen. Let's talk about this in a second. I mean, this is such a meaty tone. I love it. I love it when three pedals come together and create something as equally good as each of them in separation, if you know what that means. I massively adore these three pedals separately, you know. They offer something different, each of them. So Topanga is a great pedal to work with other pedals to boost them. The Tchula, just by itself, I mean, if I had to have one pedal on the board and I was playing a Tele, if it was only a one pedal board, I would pick the Tchula over the Shanks. When you put all three together, it's big, it's not too compressed, it's chewy, it's lovely to play, it's dynamic, and I really love that. So now let's do the same thing but with the right hand side of the Tchula. I mean, that gets pretty big. What I love about it, again, is the volume control on the guitar can just control all of that so well. All three pedals are fantastic at that. So you've got full control, and for a three pedal board, you need that. You need to be able to make the dynamics happen on the fly. You know, unless you're going to get one of these new MIDI controlled guitars where you can basically do anything you want. We've only got a volume control, a tone control, and these three pedals. So to have them as dynamic as possible is so important. I would feel really confident going out, playing a Tele, these three pedals. I'm not sure how I'm going to beat these three pedals for a Tele in a future video, but we'll find out. So, as I said, this is 2.5. I felt a bit like I was cheating if I counted this as episode 3. It was really a correction. Well, not a correction because it's a different guitar than the Strat. Obviously, the Strat I used in video number 2 may not have worked so well with the Tchula, but I just felt like it was in the same vein. And if I was doing, you know, a 4-pedal board and 2 guitars, a Strat and a Tele for an evening, I would have these 3 and I would have a fuzz pedal that would work great with the Strat and the Shanks and the Topanga. So, you know, there's all sorts of possibilities, and I'll probably do videos like as part of this series where I have 2 guitars and we'll have fun figuring out which combinations work better with which guitar. But I hope you've enjoyed this. If you haven't been on my channel before, please go and check out episodes 1 and 2 of this series, and also subscribe to be part of my giveaway. I'm giving away the Horsebreaker by Tchula Tone. It's a clone and a Marshall Blues Breaker, really fantastic pedal. I've got to buy another one for myself. So just comment on a video and subscribe publicly. If you don't want to subscribe publicly, send an email to the email address in the description with a screenshot of you being subscribed to me. A palaver, I know, but totally worth it to have a chance to win this. I'll send it anywhere in the world, and I'll see you soon.